Welcome to another edition of Ask Dr. George, and today we want to know, will it break?
We're gonna have a little fun today because what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how strong some of the materials are that we're using today.
Okay.
And so there are various different types of porcelain out there, and there's of course acrylics that we use for doing dentures. So the original kinds of porcelain that we were making once upon a time was called porcelain fused to metal. So if you can see this here, basically there's a metal core inside of this. And this is how crowns and bridges were made in the past. So they would cast up a metal core, and then they would build over top of it with a porcelain called feldspathic porcelain. You're probably used to feldspathic porcelain because that's the porcelain that we have in our china plates, vases, things like that. It's basically a powder and a liquid, and then they fire it in the oven. Okay. So for all intents and purposes, these porcelain fused to metal crowns and bridges were the core of it, because it was metal, was very strong, but the porcelain over top was quite weak. And so these kind of porcelains chip quite easily. So we measure things we measure compressive strength in megapascals, and compressive strength is how much load would it take to crush it or break it. Okay. So feldspathic porcelain comes in at around 100 megapascals of pressure to crack it or break it. So what we've done is we've switched to new materials now that are not powder liquid and built up by hand and fired with every layer. Now what we do is we mill these porcelains. So this comes from a solid block of porcelain, and it's basically milled out of one solid piece. Okay? These are not feldspathic porcelain anymore. This porcelain is called zirconia, and zirconia blocks come in around 1100 megapascals of compressive strength. So they are much, much stronger. They don't chip very easily, and they are an excellent way of making teeth these days. So what we're going to do today is we're going to simulate what it would take to break one of these. And the last thing I've got here is I've got a denture. So as I've said before, basically a denture is some plastic teeth embedded in some kind of resin to help hold it all together. So this is very light compared to, a zirconia bridge. Like, feel the difference in the weight.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. No
Right?
question.
No question, right? This is quite robust. Now this particular bridge here I think will be the hardest one to break because it's got a lot of bulk to it. It's very, very thick. This is a type 3 prosthesis. This would be designed for somebody who had a lot of bone resorption. All of this part, which would be pink eventually, would be replacing the amount of bone and gums that they've lost, over the years. So we're going to try to break all these. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to simulate what would happen if you were wearing one of these bridges and you dropped it in the sink.
Okay.
So this piece of porcelain tile that I've got here, this is going to replicate my ceramic sink. I don't want to drop it on my granite countertop because I'm afraid that this bridge might actually take a chunk out of my granite.
Right.
So it's very, very strong. And so we're going to just see if I drop it, would it break?
Okay.
Okay, so this is going to simulate, this is the drop test, if you will. So let's say you're brushing your teeth over here and this bridge fell out. So as you can see here, pretty much nothing happened. Nothing chipped, nothing broke. Okay, so let's try it again. We'll drop it right on the teeth so we can see if anything will break.
Wow.
And you can see again here, nothing chipped, nothing broke. These bridges are very, very strong.
Right.
Okay, so this is why we switched to using this kind of porcelain, because it's very, very resistant to chipping, breaking, or anything like that. So we wouldn't have to worry about this one, breaking.
Okay.
So let's see if we can pan back. This time we're going to simulate dropping it on the floor on your ceramic tile. So let me put my ceramic tile on the floor here. Can you see that? All right, let's drop it from up here and see what happens here. We dropped it right on the teeth. The teeth, of course, is the thinnest part, and nothing chipped, nothing broke, so this is holding up really well, right?
I'd say, for
yeah,
sure.
So let's see if we drop it a little harder. This time I dropped it on an edge and kind of slammed it, and again, nothing.
Wow.
It's perfect. So let's take a look at a thinner bridge. So this is also a zirconia bridge. It's much thinner. It doesn't have as much base to it. And let's see how this guy holds up if we do the floor drop test.
Ooh.
You can see this one broke, right?
Yeah.
So a little piece came off the back. So it didn't chip, but it did break. So in the will it break,
That one definitely
it
did.
definitely did, right? So
Wow.
the thinner the bridge, it can break. And this is an issue with these zirconia bridges, is that they're very, very strong. Like they will not chip.
Okay.
But it is porcelain and it can be brittle. So if you drop it, you might be able to break it. So it's probably not an awesome idea for us to make porcelain bridges that are removable.
Right.
So if you're going to make something that's removable, we're probably going to make it out of a denture material. So let's see what happens with the denture. Let's drop that. Now this is very light.
Very light.
So it may,
Okay, just bounces.
it just bounces, right? Like nothing much is happening here. And nothing's breaking on this, mainly because it's so light.
Right.
Okay, so the denture can withstand being dropped, and nothing will generally happen to it. Occasionally you might chip a tooth
Okay.
if you drop a denture on the sink or something like that. But, for the most part, it's pretty strong. So what we'll do now is we'll go back to our testing range here, and let's see what happens with these various materials if we hit them with a hammer.
Whoa.
So what we're going to do first of all is let's try the denture.
Okay.
Okay, let's see how strong the denture is if I hit it with a hammer. Will it break? This is what we want to find out. Can you
Okay.
see this okay?
Will it break?
Will it break? Let's see.
Nope.
Pretty good.
Oh.
Whoop. You can see that those teeth fractured right off of that. So in answer to the question, will it break? Yes, it will. All right,
Okay.
let's look at the zirconia again.
This is
So
the heavy one.
this is the heavy one, but we're going to smash it right on the teeth. We're going to
Okay.
smash it on the thin part, right on these edges, and we're going to see if this one will break.
Okay.
Let me try a little harder. Nothing. These are quite resistant.
And you were really giving it, you're bashing it pretty good. Yeah. Will
That
it
time
break?
I was hammering
No.
the porcelain teeth right onto the ceramic here, and it didn't break. Let's try the thinner one out. This is zirconia as well.
Okay.
Well, it's taking pieces out of the ceramic.
Okay.
So it's actually breaking the ceramic.
Now this is the one that broke when it fell, right?
See, look,
There we are.
right here.
Yeah.
Can you see this?
Wow.
So these teeth are actually chipping away at the porcelain tile. See that?
It's biting into it.
It's biting in, and if you take a look at the teeth here, there's maybe just a tiny bit of damage going on there, but these teeth are very, very strong. So that's zirconia, right? If we hit it with this, you can see the denture is just breaking.
Yeah.
So it's nowhere near as strong as the zirconia is. Now, let's take a look at the old porcelain fused to metal. So this was that bridge that I said was much weaker, the porcelain on this.
Right.
So if we were to put that on our ceramic tile and hit it with a hammer, I would expect that the porcelain on this will break.
Yes.
Saw that?
Yeah.
See how that just flaked right off?
Whoop.
Right? Right?
And leaves behind the metal.
Leaves
Yeah.
behind the metal. So with a porcelain fused to metal bridge, the metal will not break.
Right.
The core will not break, but the outside will. So you could see that I didn't have to hit that very hard.
Right.
And the porcelain was just fracturing right off compared to, say, something like this,
Yeah.
where I'm actually breaking the ceramic tile here. So what we have here is I think this is a zirconia bridge. Let's see. So there's no metal inside of this one.
No.
So again, we can crack it, but we can't chip it. So you're not likely going to come into that much force, in the mouth. Here's a porcelain fused to metal crown. So it has the porcelain over top of the metal core. Same thing again. That one just went flying. Here it is. But all the porcelain just chipped right off of that.
Then you end up looking like a James Bond villain.
Right.
After.
So, will it break? The answer is the new zirconias will take a tremendous amount of force before they're going to chip or break, which is why the profession is moving towards using these kind of teeth now. They are very resistant to breaking.
Right.
So the long and the short of it is, if you can take a hammer to it and break the ceramic tile, I think the teeth will probably stand up to your chewing.
Probably.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day.